welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my second recent reads video of the year. I've read some really good books this past few months, so I wanted to share them with you guys. This is every book that I've read since my last recent reads video. No, I lied. This is every book I've read since the recent and current reads video that I made. I will link it in the corner over there so you guys can check that out. But this is basically every book I've read since then, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. So I don't want to make this intro too long. I kind of just want to jump right into everything. The first book I read was More Than Maybe by Erin Hahn. I listened to this as an audiobook and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It had a lot to do with music. It follows a boy named Luke and a girl named Veda who are both kind of like in the music scene, and Luke runs a music podcast with his twin brother, and he writes a song for Veda because he has a crush on her, but Veda doesn't necessarily know that, and they are kind of paired together for a school project, and that kind of like is where the story takes off. I really enjoyed it. I read Erin Hahn's debut, which was You to Be Mine, which is also music based, and I really liked it. I thought the romance was a bit wishy-washy. I wasn't really connected to it, and I kind of felt like it was very forced. This one, I really like how Luke and Veda had multiple interactions, and they really had opportunities to kind of build their romance, and there was a lot of kind of progression and build up towards like the end product, and I loved that so much. There was multiple points of contention throughout the novel. I loved how they have such diverse music tastes, and music is a big theme of this entire book, and I just love that so much. I'm really looking forward to reading her next book, which is coming out in 2021, so I'm definitely going to be looking out for that one. But I really like this. I highly recommend it. It is really fun, really sweet, light, fluffy, perfect for summer. The next book I read was probably my most anticipated book of 2021. It is by my favorite author of all time, and that is The Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. I love this book. I think you guys already know that I would have loved this book. It is so amazing. It follows two characters who are assaulted at the same party, and they are dealing with the aftermath of that assault. And it is magical realism, of course, because that is what Anna Marie McLemore is kind of like the expert at, and it was just beautiful and heartbreaking. This is definitely like their most contemporary like book to date, because it does have a lot of contemporary elements. It is set like in our own present world with a couple of like magical elements to it. I could definitely see how this is definitely more of a contemporary romance feel to it. If you are somebody who is very weary of kind of jumping into the magical realism genre, but you want to kind of dip your toes in it, I definitely think this would be a perfect beginner book for exploring all of like the magic that comes with fantasy and magical realism, but still being grounded in reality and having romance be like a center part of the book. It is so beautiful. I love the Spanish elements of this book as well. Anna Marie McLemore is always putting their own Spanish roots into this book, and it is gorgeous. I loved it so much. I highly recommend this as well. It deals with the topic of like sexual assault, both from like the female and the male perspective, so well. It is so interesting, and you don't see a lot of books in the like young adult genre that deals with sexual assault against men. This I definitely recommend everybody should read at some point. It is so good. If you are interested in magical realism of any kind, you should definitely read this. And please, like, I always push Anna Marie McLemore's books because they are so amazing and the writing is just fantastic. So please like pick this up. It is so good. I would definitely, like, if I rated books, this would be like a 5-star read. It is just phenomenal. The next book I read was for school, and it was a book that was required but I really ended up enjoying, and it is called The Short Bus: A Journey Beyond Normal by Jonathan Mooney. This book is kind of like an autobiography written by Jonathan Mooney, who is dyslexic. This book in particular follows his journey when he buys a short bus, and he takes it all across the country to meet 13 different people who have disabilities and learning about their disability experiences. But I will say that Jonathan Mooney does have some ableist ideas and ableist responses to some of the people that he meets. There are also some parts of it that he makes transphobic comments, because there is like a transgender character in this book, whose name has been changed. This idea that he has like a lot of ableist ideas, I definitely see are there, but he is challenged so many times on those ideas throughout this book that I think when we get to the end and you really see how much he's changed and how much he's grown, you really see him challenging himself in his own thoughts. He challenges this idea of normalcy and how abnormality wouldn't exist without this idea of normalcy, and we as a society are creating this idea that we need to be normal in every aspect, and that is something that just isn't going to happen. And I just loved the way he handled so many topics in this book. I have it like tabbed because there's so many quotes that are just so beautiful. I definitely recommend people do pick this up. He has another book out called Normal Sucks, but this one is really good if you're looking for one that is focused on disability experiences and reads less like a text and more like an actual story. The next book I read was also another one for school, and it was for one of my classes. We had to do a book club and we had to pick a book to read from my list and present on it. So the book I chose was Disabled Upon Arrival: Eugenics, Immigration, and the Construction of Race and Disability by J. Timothy Dolmage. This book basically talks about the topic of immigration from the intersectionality of race and disability, and how Ellis Island has been a blueprint for racist and ableist ideas that stem from American eugenics. And it was oh my god, it was phenomenal. It was just so much research has gone into this, and I have been taught in school that Ellis Island was kind of like this bridge between like immigrants coming to America and then their new life, and it is still that. So much negativity has taken place that it really is like a traumatic landmark for so many immigrants, especially those who have family that have passed through that island. This book tackles how those with disabilities and those from different racial and ethnic groups were targeted because of the eugenics movement, and it talks about the intersectionality of race and disability in our lifetime, and it was just really interesting. This is definitely an academic piece, so I don't think it's for everybody, but I would highly recommend it if you are into nonfiction and learning more about disability. The next book I read was one that I got not too long ago, and I read another very popular book by this author, so I kind of just want to show you guys, and that is Shout by Lori Halls Anderson, who is the author of Speak. I really enjoyed this. This was wonderful. This is basically Lori Halls Anderson's memoir about being raped by a former boyfriend and all of the things that have taken place after that, and it's just wonderful and raw and real. It's written in verse, which is really interesting. I love novels that are written in verse because I do love poetry, and I think that really aids in the storytelling, because there are definitely like a structure to the way that she is writing, and it is just so beautiful. It aids the story really well. I just loved how strong she became throughout this novel, and how she has dedicated her life not only to writing but to educating other young people about the damaging effects of being raped, and also not supporting those who have been raped. And it's just amazing. Obviously, I will put a trigger warning on this. I definitely think that if you are not going to be triggered by the contents of this book, I definitely think you should read it because it is stunning. The next book I want to talk about is one that is obviously just a staple in YA contemporary, and I think just a staple in the young adult genre in general, but that is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Obviously, I think everybody on BookTube has read this book at one point in time, and I put it off for so long because I know that the contents of this book was going to make me upset, and it did. I was so happy that I read this now, especially in the aftermath of the George Floyd verdict. I definitely am happy that I chose to read it at this time, and I can tell you that this book is just phenomenal. It is so raw and real. If you do not know what this book is about, it follows a girl named Star Carter who is kind of going through an identity crisis. She lives in Garden Heights, which is a mostly Black neighborhood, and she feels like she has to be one way at home and another way at her all-white private high school, and she's kind of split between two different stars. When she's at a party one night, she runs into her childhood friend and crush Khalil, and when they are leaving a party, they end up being pulled over, and Khalil unfortunately ends up being shot by a white police officer, and he was unarmed. This book kind of follows the aftermath of Khalil's death and all of the protests, the pain, the heartbreak, the anger that takes place after a unarmed young Black man is shot. This book obviously has so many parallels to Black men who have died before and Black men who have died after. It is just such a real portrait of what it means to be Black in America. And this book is very much inspired by the 2013 Black Lives Matter movements after the death of Michael Brown. You can definitely feel like the tension and the intensity in every part of this book. But what I really truly loved was the unexpected moments of purity and humor. I think that Angie Thomas did a really good job of knowing how to lighten the mood while also being really intense and not shying away from the hard conversations that have to be had about what it means to be Black in America. I think that this book is just so beautiful, and it just gives such a beautiful perspective of what it means to be a young Black girl in America and going through so many emotions, watching your friend die while also having to work through those emotions and still be like a teenage girl. And Star faces a lot of really difficult times and conversations throughout this novel. I listened to this as an audiobook. I think the narrator did a wonderful job of really committing to every single character's voice. All of the voices in this book were so distinct and individual that it was so easy to tell who was talking at any given time, and the emotion that poured into them really brought this book to life. And by the end, even though I did not get the ending that I really obviously wanted to have, I still got an ending that is just real, that is so reflective of what takes place now. I am just so happy that I read this. We're going to be doing a switch back to nonfiction, and this one is an anthology that I finished reading and I really enjoyed it. That book is Disability Visibility, First Person Stories for the 21st Century, edited by Alice Wong. Alice Wong is a disability advocate who has written books in the past, but this is an anthology that she helped edit, and it includes just so many different things. It includes essays, articles, speeches, eulogies from all different types of people, all of which have a disability, and it is just so good. I have it like all tabbed up, and the blue tabs are just specific entries and specific stories that are just so amazing. And this book, I think, is the pinnacle of disability experiences. If you're going to read any book or any piece of work that talks about disability and what it means to live with a disability, you need to read this. It not only focuses on disability, but it focuses on race, queerness, and so many other wonderful things. I could really do a whole video on this. I really believe that you should read it for yourself to really get the most out of it. It is fantastic. I will always be recommending this. If you cannot tell, I clearly love learning about disability. It's what I'm going to school for, is to be a special education teacher, and I feel that since I do not have a disability, I am already at a disadvantage of not understanding disability. But I think that the more reading, the more research, and the more that I educate myself, the better prepared I can be to help those who have a disability. And I am just so happy that I was able to get my hands on this. And what I love is that there are so many reference sources at the end of this anthology to websites, articles, books, fiction and nonfiction about disability and race and queerness. So I highly recommend everybody read this as well. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Jackpot by Nick Stone. This book follows a girl named Rico who growing up never really had a lot of money, and she ends up selling a winning lottery ticket, and she kind of invokes the help of a classmate to help her track down this unclaimed lottery ticket. And this is definitely like a bit of an enemies to lovers kind of story. I really liked this. I like this a lot. I read Dear Martin and Dear Justice by Nick Stone, and those are 1 and 2 of my favorite like contemporary books of all time. They're just so amazing, and I loved this book as well. I think Nick Stone did an amazing job. I think she's a wonderful author. I really liked the relationship between Rico and Zan. I really did. I love the back and forth. I love how combative Rico can be at times. I really loved how stubborn she was, because I connected to that a lot. I'm a very stubborn person as well, and I found myself getting annoyed with her at times, but then I realized like, wait, that's literally me. So I can't really get upset about that. I love the story. I love how fast-paced it was. I love the multiple conversations about money, and it really has like these difficult conversations about what it means to be rich, what it means to be poor, what it means to be middle class. So many things take a turn in this novel. There are so many twists and turns I did not see coming. Like, I was completely surprised. I can normally guess plot twists really well, and this one I did not guess. I really enjoyed this novel. The one thing I will say is that the ending wrapped up way too quickly. I could have used at least an extra 2 chapters just to let things settle in. Other than the ending, I loved every part about this book. I definitely recommend reading it and checking out Nick Stone's other books because they are wonderful as well. The second to last book that I read was a short story, actually, by one of my favorite authors, and that is Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was kind of looking for something short, quick, and simple. Jackpot was a really short book, so I wanted like something that was super short as well. So I picked up Evidence of the Affair as like an ebook, and whew, wow, okay. So this was 70 pages of what the hell am I even reading, and why do I love it so much? This short story is essentially told in letters from a man and a woman whose spouses are cheating on them with each other. And we follow both of these adults who are obviously struggling with heartbreak. And that's all I want to tell you. That's really all I'm going to say, because this short story you need to experience for yourself. I'm being very calm and kind of mundane about it because I don't want to lose my mind and spoil everything. But this short story was phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and I cannot wait for Malibu Rising to come out. I think I just needed to read something by Taylor Jenkins Reid that wasn't a full novel to kind of hold me over until Malibu Rising comes out, but I wasn't expecting like this reaction that I got from it. It's 70 pages. Like, you really wouldn't think that it would be so, like, just so enthralling, but it really is. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's wonderful. You need to read it. The very last book that I have to talk about is one that I just recently finished. It was on my summer TBR video, so I'm already 1 book down, and it was phenomenal. And that was Layla by Colleen Hoover. I will say, everything I thought about this book going into it was absolutely wrong. I knew I was gonna love it, and I very much did. This is fantastic. It's a piece of art. However, what I was told about this book was not what happened. I love this book so much. It's amazing. It basically is like a mystery of some sort. It follows a man named Leeds who meets this woman named Layla at a bed and breakfast, and they end up falling in love, and then a tragic event happens that brings them back to this bed and breakfast to kind of rekindle their relationship. And Layla is acting super weird, and Leeds ends up meeting another woman, and as he is learning about this other woman, the more bizarre Layla's behavior is. And that's all I want to say, because I don't want to spoil anything. There are so many plot twists in this book that I honestly just had my mind absolutely blown. I was literally sitting in my bed so many times just like, because so many things took place. I love this so much. Colleen Hoover is kind of an instant auto-buy, auto-read author for me, and if you have not read it, you need to read it. This is completely different from any book she has ever written in the past. This is different from Verity. This is different from It Ends With Us. This is different from November 9. This is different from Maybe Someday. It is different from every other book she has written in the past, and this book is absolutely phenomenal. So you need to read it. And that's all I'm gonna say. You just need to read it. That is every book I had to talk about today. I have been filming for like a half hour, so I'm kind of done with this already. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please watch my other videos. Please like this video. Please comment on it so I can know that you guys like it. Please let me know what books you have been reading lately and any that you recommend for me. I will see you guys hopefully in my next video, hopefully soon. I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you soon again. Mwah. Bye-bye.